and art directing for the National Lampoon. And some friends of mine from New Jersey would tell me about this really cool underground magazine, newsprint magazine, would come out twice a year. It was called Weird New Jersey. And they would, you'd read it and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that the gates of hell were actually in Clifton when I was a little kid. They swore, everyone knew that you'd go down this sewer grate, and you could tell like how old or how ballsy each kid was. You know, he gets a little further, but then your mind starts to play tricks on you, or the devil's calling. I'm not sure which. But the further you get, then suddenly you'd run out screaming because you were certain that you saw Satan. And you know, there were just all these weird things. And I contacted them and said, hey, I'm art director and senior editor over at the Lampoon. I'd love to be part of your magazine. And they go, well, we don't really have a budget. We really can't pay anybody. And it was one of like the smartest professional things I've ever done in my life. I was like, I don't care, I'm doing okay financially, I've got a great job, I just want to be part of this thing. And they said, okay, well that's cool, you know, we can give you a little advertisement, you can put your URL in there. So that's what I did, and for 2 years, one person contacted me and he wanted me to do a tattoo for $25. And I wound up passing on that. And then one day, they called me up and they said they needed an illustration, and they were going to give me $300, which is, you know, if you're doing magazine work, that's industry standard for a small black and white illustration. And I was like, I was really impressed because, I mean, they could have kept that knowledge to themselves that suddenly they had backers. What wound up happening is Barnes & Noble noticed that their magazines were selling very, very well in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania areas, Connecticut as well. And so they said, well, why don't you guys put together a book of all your past magazines, and we'll see if it sells. And it sold really well. So suddenly they started giving me, and then I was doing illustrations for Weird New York, the book, and Weird Florida, the book, and Texas and stuff like that. I was, right around that time I was leaving the Lampoon, and they said, oh yeah, you're a writer too. You want to write Weird California? I said, absolutely I do. And you know, it was like somebody giving me carte blanche, you know. I didn't have to put miles on my own car because I'm renting a car and they're paying for it. I'm driving from San Diego up to Eureka and all places in between, and if I thought something was weird, I was allowed to write about it. It was just the coolest thing. You know, going all the way, has anybody been up to Eureka?
No.
Amazing, it's really just amazing. It doesn't even, I mean, California's so big and so different looking all over the place, but Eureka's a beautiful, beautiful place. And you know, you go through the giant redwoods, and I remember this one. I went up to Eureka. I think it was Eureka. Anyway, a guy was. I was trying to find the cement gardens. That's what they called it. And but there was no real street address. They just said, you know, go to Eureka. It's a long freaking hike, you know, from Southern California to Eureka. You know, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it's Count Smoke Killer. I know you like to be subdued, Count, so I got to address it. But anyway, so I'm driving, I'm coming, I'm coming down, and
there goes your attention.
I've been upstaged by a vampire. So I'm trying to find this place, and I realize when you're doing these kind of books, the people, if you don't know where it is, or you don't know where something weird is, you either go to a truck stop, a bar, or a gas station. And these people know everything. So I went to this, it was early enough in the morning that I didn't need gas, and I was already hungover. So I went to the diner. And the waitress there found a place for me. She announced the whole place. Does anybody know where the cement garden is? And nobody seemed to know, but everybody was like, you mean Old Man Flanagan's place? I'm like, I don't know. And they go, it's the big Paul Bunyan. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, well, here's how you get there. But they're like, but be careful that he doesn't see you. And I thought that was kind of like, you know, they're being, you know, small town funny. And so I get there, and there's no road. You got to park, and I can kind of see it in the distance. And I get out of my car, and I got the camera with me, and I'm walking through, hopping fences, and walking over all this crap. And then I see this sun-dried rib cage. I assume it's a dog, but it could have been another photographer. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a little freaky. And suddenly the words are saying, like, make sure he doesn't see you. So I'm on his property, but like I'm mindful of where the car is. And but like that car, I'm not on a road anymore. I'm in the dirt. So I take a couple of pictures, and suddenly this guy comes and he comes out, and I go, "Oh, you must be Old Man Flanagan. Hi, my name is Joe Oesterle. I'm doing this," and he shuts the door, and he leaves. And I'm like, that can't be good. So I'm taking pictures like this, you know, really kind of looking at him, and he comes out and he's got something down here. I don't know. It looked like it could have been a shotgun. It could have been a wiffle ball bat. Whatever it was, it scared the hell out of me. And I ran, and I did one of those, you know, Dukes of Hazzard thing where I flew over the trunk of the hood of the car, and I drove and driving and spinning, and dirt's coming. And I really expected to have the window shot out, but I guess Old Man Flanagan was just happy to scare me. But it was really, really frightening times. But so the book is not all glamour. Even though I do get to run with superheroes and vampires.